What's good? What's good, everybody? I almost fell off my chair. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. This is Emmanuel, and today I have with me Ashley Darby. All right, we're gonna be talking about something that's very interesting. But before that, I want to thank you for coming on and to join me on the conversation that we're gonna talk about. So can you just introduce yourself? Let me know who you are, what do you do, as and career-wise or whatever.
So my name is Ashley. Yes, I am. I'm from Washington D.C. I live in Maryland. I am currently a social worker at a homeless shelter for women.
Nice.
I'm a believer. I love Jesus. I attend the New Macedonia Baptist Church in Southeast DC. Yeah, that's about me in a nutshell. I teach Sunday school, Bible study. I play clarinet, random. I know. I used to be in a band. So, yeah,
Nice.
that's me.
Nice. It would have been cool if you would have been in the movie Drumline.
I know.
Cool. So yes, so we're gonna get into this. This one is a little bit different from my other interviews. It's gonna be more of a discussion, and as you already know, that I am very passionate about finances, specifically in the area of becoming debt free. And a lot of people are watching my journey, between me and my wife and whatnot. So the other day, as you saw, I paid off my car. We paid off our car, one of them, and it took us a year and 7 months instead of 4.5 years. Because 4.5 years paying it off, that would have been a mission. But the beautiful thing is that I had mentioned that when we got married on December 29th of 2018, we started off with $67,000 of debt combined. And today we are already a little bit more than halfway. So when I posted that on Instagram, some guy was like, a brother in Christ, he was like, wow, now I understand why you are so passionate. Because think about it, 67K in 2 years and you pay half of it already, that's progress. And I was my wife the other day, you know what? People see what I post and people see how much I paid off debt, but they really don't see behind the scenes all the hard work. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy, because if we did not make the choice of doing what we're doing now, then we wouldn't be at where we're at financially. And we're only 1 year away from being debt free. So like you seen that picture or even a video or whatnot of us paying off the car and just the journey, like what goes through your mind?
So I think it's awesome. Like because car notes are heavily interested. They are the worst. They depreciate in value. But you need a car. So I think it's really awesome that you were able to pay off the car, because the if you pay it off in the amount time that they give you, you're literally paying twice as much for the car. And I think people see it that way when you're going to purchase a vehicle or anything that pertains to interest rates, debt, how much, because when you're asking for this money up front and they give it to you, this is how much you're going to be paying over time.
Yeah.
They just like, oh, I'm going to pay my note. That's fine. But just know, if you pay $30,000 and your interest rate is 10%, you probably end up going to be paying $45,000 for that car at the end if you don't pay it. This is not saying never to get a car note.
Yeah.
This is saying be mindful of what the long-term gain is. So I think that y'all were able to pay it off. And even if you did the math to see how much you would have paid and how much you really end up saving, would be really dope. So people can see the contrast. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah. So
I wish I didn't have to buy a new car. I literally just bought a new car, and I'm just like, I gotta start over. But I couldn't find, for me personally, because one, I am single, so my finances go differently for me than having a partner. So for me, like, I had to, because I don't have the rely. I can only rely on what my set of income is, and the last thing I need is for my car to go out. And that's what my car was. So I just went ahead and just bought the Bullet and got a car. But because of the pandemic, I'm just talking so much. Because of the pandemic, I was able to get a really good rate and a really good deal. And I'm not going to keep it. I'm not going to pay it till the 6 years. I'm definitely going to double up. I'm going to take refund checks and pay it from the tax returns. And like just paying the extra money. So those are the ways you could pay down the loan quicker.
Definitely. And don't give up.
No, I'm not. I mean, I don't got no choice. What's my alternative?
I know, right? So that's what's up. That's what's up. And and hopefully, God willing, in 4 or 5 months, like from today, we will be paying off our other car.
Yay!
And then
because all you're gonna do is roll over that payment.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then we have a student loan that she has, which by the end of the year, God willing, will be completely gone as well.
Well, amen.
So, yeah. So I had asked a question on social media. I kind of changed the question because it kind of the same thing. I had asked, would you marry a man that has 100K but with plans on no paying off debt? So I changed it. Is ladies, would you marry a man with no plans of paying off debt? So you were the one that answered and said no. So I was asking for people like you that would like to come on my channel and talk about it. So Ashley, would you marry a man that has debt but have no plans to pay it off, and why?
No, I wouldn't.
Why? Tell me. Tell me. Let's inform the ladies why not.
Okay, so the question isn't, Ashley, would you marry a man with debt? Because I would, because I got debt. So that's not the thing. The caveat is they have no intentions of paying it back. And my answer would have to be no. Like, I don't want to come into a union with someone that sees debt, that doesn't have the same views as debt as I do. Now, we might have different processes and we can always figure that out, but the goal should always be to pay it off. Now, if we want to go Dave Ramsey, we want to go Crown, we want to do Snowball, or if we just want to prioritize what is the debt that we want to pay down as a family and a youth, like that is fine. But if you have no intentions of paying your debt off, I see us becoming one will be a problematic in the finance department. And I just don't think that's a good look for me in my life. You know, because why, because then I will have to like roll all these questions. Okay, so one, well, why did you get the debt? Like, what kind of debt is it? The type, because it's a difference between a student loan, car, credit cards. Like, so what are we talking about? First of all, second of all, how much do you owe? And I think one of the things, like I've talked about with a lot of my friends and just people about finances in general, people feel so taboo to talk about it. Yeah. Like they don't ever want to talk about their finances. And I understand, but I don't understand, because you will never get the tricks of the trade of how to pay it off. Literally, so when the statement first came out about the 100K, I still, my answer still, if the caveat wasn't there, I could marry somebody with 100K debt, because I have 100K student loan debt. I have a master's degree in social work. I went to a private HBCU. I have over 100K in student loan debt. However, okay, I got game plans, okay? I have game plans and programs that we are enrolling in to pay off that debt. Okay, so by the time I'm 40, I should be debt free. Yeah. Period. Which is cool. So, I'm just doing what's in my means as a single woman to get down to that 40 range. But I wouldn't want to join with somebody that doesn't have those same ideas in mind. I don't want to come in the same yoke with someone that don't. And I think my biggest thing about it is like, what is your alternative? And then your money management, what are you doing with your money? Oh yeah. So I mean, you just paying your rent and your bills, like, okay, but so if you're not gonna pay your debt, are you at least saving? Are Are you donating? Are you giving to charities? Are you tithing? Like, what are we doing with this money that you don't feel the need to pay your debt off? And I understand how some people may feel about credit scores, but when you get into, I've seen people, and I've seen even in my own life, you get into particular situations where it sucks because it's just the world we live in, and in the United States, but that you may potentially need credit. And if you're holding so much debt to the point where you're unable to get credit, then what are we doing? Like, and it just shows immaturity in that front. And I just don't think coming to a union. Now, if we dating, we gotta have a lot of conversations, but it'll probably turn me off dating too. I ain't gonna lie. It'll probably turn me off.
I agree. Even if you're dating somebody and getting to know, eventually that comes and obviously maybe not right away when you first meet them, but over time, and you see that it's getting serious and you're having more serious conversations, and that money comes up and that financial, literacy comes up. Like, we need to know about that. We need to know if that guy or that girl, what are their money habits? What is their view about money and debt and investments and stuff like that? And that's very, very important. Because if you ask me 2 years or past 2 years ago, I would have no clue. I wouldn't know anything about finances. I wouldn't know anything about investments. I wouldn't know anything about debt. I would just be like almost everybody else. And for me, it's because I was never taught financial literacy from my parents for whatever reason. Even though my parents were super responsible, and I'm talking about parents who came from the Dominican Republic in the 1940s, who had no education. My father did not succeed, did not go over the 5th grade. My mom did not even make it to high school. And they came to this country and worked their butt off. And you know what? They were well off than so many people that made 100K because they were responsible. They had a house. Me and my 2 brothers, we never lacked anything. We went on vacations every summer. Like, literally, I remember for like 6 years straight, we went to Virginia Beach every summer for July 4th. You know what I'm saying? Like, we as a family, we went everywhere, but we never lacked. And we're talking about 2 people who had no education, but they had good money habits, money management, but they just didn't teach me that, so I never had that. So that is why I'm in the hole that I am in now. But with all the information that I'm learning now, I can translate that into my kids, so they don't have to go through what I went through. You know what I'm saying? So yes, it's important that even when you're dating, that conversation comes up. You need to know about that person's money habit. You know what I'm saying? You see where the vision is at. Because if they want to marry you, number one, you're the head of the household. The guy. Not to say that the guy is over the woman, but biblically speaking, we already know that the man is the head of the household, and obviously we come in an agreement together talking about finances, how we're going to do things. But if you're talking about, I don't have any intentions of paying off debt, so you're telling me that you're going to marry me and you're going to pay off my debt, that doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine a guy has no intention of paying off debt, yet he wants to marry you, so when you guys get married, you're going to be paying off the debt?
Negative.
It doesn't work like that.
We ain't doing it.
That's immaturity. That's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
Like, something is wrong there.
Yeah. But I've met men. I think, and I know this is not about dating, but I've met men with men having expectations of women. And it could be numerous reasons, but I only got 2 factors that it could be. But I've met men that have the expectation that women will pay for them, will pay their bills, will help them in these kind of ways. And I think it's because of, one, the dysfunction of the woman. Women in desperation of wanting to be with a man, we will, and I've done it. I mean, I've never paid for no man, trust, but I've done things in hindsight in my life pertaining to a guy and wanting him to desire me in a particular type of way. And so I can understand. So it makes sense. So a woman doing those kind of things, and to be honest, the dysfunction of the mother, right? Because I know everybody's about to think, oh man, it's because of lack of the dad. No, it's the dysfunction of the mother. Follow me, okay? If the dad is absent, right? The dad is absent, and I have an ex. If the dad is absent and the mother is there, the mother is the sole bread maker. So the man is watching his mom provide for him and solely him.
Yeah.
And you will be surprised to watch how many boys, men dressed up like boys, boys dressed up like men, that will have the expectation of a woman.
Wow.
That are we supposed to be spouse, counterpart, equals, right? Mm-hmm. Their expectation of a woman to take care of them financially, emotionally, like, because that's the role that the mother did. Yeah. But in a balanced household, it would have been the responsibility of both parents. Exactly. And I feel like with the lack of the fathers, this is the example of the mothers, what the mothers showed. And now we're in the situation that we're in with men, and men having the audacity that, and this is how the whole, we gotta come equal playing field. I'm not meeting men coming equal playing fields, to be honest. Like, I have a master's degree. I'm coming a little higher on the check. Mm-hmm. So I'm not even trying to match money for money. I'm trying to check. I'm trying to match, holiness and holiness. Okay, right. That's what I'm trying to match. Right. But I've met men that are trying, they want equal partners, but it's like, I'm not about to take care of you. Mm-hmm. That's not my responsibility. Yeah. And biblically, I'm supposed to be your helpmate, not your maid.
Exactly.
So it's a lot of factors in a man not want to pay off his debt. I'm throwing red flags up like bing, bing, bing.
Yeah. And this is all crazy. This is crazy. Like, this is all psychological. Like, I mean, obviously you're a social worker and all that, so you already know that lane. My wife too. She got a bachelor's in psychology, and she wants to go for counseling. But yes, I totally agree with you, and it sucks because it's like at first you feel bad because like that's what they grew up in. Mm-hmm. No father, the mother playing the role of both, and so they grow up with that mindset, but it takes somebody to come and correct them and let them know how it's supposed to be done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it won't happen overnight where their mindset just changes. We have to recognize that there's something wrong with that picture.
For sure.
And see what the Bible has to say with all that kind of stuff, and this can go into another conversation with the lack of fatherlessness.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in this generation, and the lack of fatherless homes and black fathers, all that kind of stuff, and talking about the wealth gap in America, and man, there's so many factors that play into it, and I'm glad that you brought that up because I didn't think about that. But it's the truth, but then I'm pretty sure there are other men who simply just, they're not men, they're boys.
Yeah, for sure.
And they ain't trying to be responsible. They want to continue believing that YOLO life, you only live once.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you do live once, so make it worthwhile.
Yeah. And then even with that, like, what the biggest thing about, like, what are you spending your money on that you don't want to pay off your debt? Like, you don't deem that to be necessary, and then that goes to our high value into monetary gain. So I'm not about to run out and go, I'm not a gamer, no way. So I'm not about to buy me no PS5. Never. That's not my zhuzh. I don't even like expensive stuff. Yeah. I really want a Roomba.
Okay.
I want a Roomba. That's my goal. That's what I'm gonna get for Christmas. Nice. All right, my mom. I don't got no kids. My brother don't have no kids. My mom's gonna give me a Roomba for Christmas because she loves me. And if I had kids, my kids would be real spoiled. Wow. So she gonna give me a Roomba. I'm just not that type of person. Mm-hmm. So, but I know a lot of people that want to have the newest, freshest, and greatest gadgets and things. And I'm all for. It's fine. That's fine. But it shouldn't it shouldn't put you back financially to have those things.
Yeah.
It shouldn't put you in a space where you're struggling now to say, oh man, I have the latest iPhone, or oh man, I got the latest, J's to come out. Jordans are still coming out. That man has not played. And he hasn't played since 2003. There's still Jordans coming out.
That's crazy.
So, like, y'all keep putting money in this man's pocket, whatever. But I get it. I'm a firm believer. Even as much as I want to pay off debt, I'm gonna enjoy the fruits of this labor on this side of glory. Okay, so there will be times where, but I'm a budgeter. So if I want something, I'm gonna put it in the budget. If I need things to do, I'm gonna put it in the budget. Like if I want to go to, well, I can't because quarantine, but I vacation a lot, so it's all budget. That's why I can't be expensive on other things because I like to travel. I would have been, and like, if Corona didn't happen, I would have only went on 2 trips. I went to Atlanta for a social work conference in March, like literally the week before the world shut down. And I went on a cruise with my mother for a Super Bowl cruise back in January, February. So literally, I probably have 4 more trips for 2020.
Wow.
4 more. That's how much I travel. I enjoy traveling. That's what, if I had to indulge money and get set back, it's going to be because I'm trying to go somewhere. Because I go to homecoming, I'll go to Florida Classic because I went to school in Daytona Beach. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy seeing other parts of the world.
Yeah.
And of the country, and different things like that. Those are things that I enjoy. So with Corona, it pushed me back, but I was able to financially pay off a lot of stuff because I didn't have, not that I didn't have the means, I just had to allocate them, I had means allocated to the debt, period.
Yeah.
But my savings mostly went into going on vacation, and I did have my $1,000 emergency fund.
Wow, you got lucky.
I do have my $1,000 emergency fund, and that I still have. And so, like, I do agree about living, but it's a balance. And I think people don't have budgets. People don't have they don't have a balance, and I think that's the biggest thing about not desiring to pay off your debt. Like I'm paying minimum on student loans because those are my biggest debts that I have.
Yeah.
But my credit cards, like I got 1 credit card. No, I got 2. I got 1 credit card, I got a big one, and then I got a baby one. Okay. I'm gonna cut the baby one up. I was out of a job. I needed clothes. Old Navy store. First of all, I can give you the whole rundown. Store credit cards are the worst thing to ever get. Okay, the interest rates are way too high. It's the interest rates. Whatever they're offering you in the sale is not worth the interest rates on the credit card. Okay, if they're offering you 20% off, your interest rate is 29.9.
Exactly.
And so don't be late.
You're really paying more for what they say the sale is.
Yeah, so don't be late, right? Then the gag is I literally just needed clothes because I just started a job. I was broke. I was like, I'm gonna just get this credit card and then I'm gonna cut it up. And then I never cut it up because I kept getting the $5. But I pay it off, but then I'm late off of no payment. Like it's the worst. It's the worst. And I love Old Navy. I'm not going against Old Navy. I'm just against Old Navy credit card. I love Old Navy. My whole clothes are Old Navy. So, so I pay off my credit card debt sometimes, but to maintain having credit, because I have a desire to buy a house. And that's the thing why I love Dave Ramsey. I do. But I know I do. I love Dave Ramsey. That's my man. All the whole people. But I know I'm not about to be like a no credit score having person. And I know I want to eventually buy a house, but I still don't feel comfortable buying a house and having student loan debt. I know you can do it, but my student loan debt is a house, not here, not in addition, not over here. Like what you could get in Atlanta, Charlotte, you can't get in DC.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whole nother conversation. But I know for me, so I maintain a credit card with my bank. It's definitely lower. I think my interest rate is like 16. It's 16%, 16.9. I pay on it regularly. It builds my credit. I think I spent, it's $4,000. I think I've probably spent half, which the goal should always be 1/3 or a third.
Right.
So I should at least get it to 1,000 or ish, some change or whatever. But but mostly that's like, I use the credit card for the car.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm a female, I'm single, and I know nothing about cars. So as soon as they say, you need rotors, I don't know what a rotor is. I just know a rotor must be attached to the brake because they always pair them together. So usually, so as soon as they say anything about the car, credit card swipe, I pay it down. Credit card swipe, I pay it down. And that's what it is. So most of that debt is from the credit card. I'm not, and everything else I pay on my debit. Like everything else I pay in cash. I don't, outside of if I travel and I rent a car. But I end up paying that in cash just to hold it on the credit. And it's all the little things, that these little stupid nuances about needing credit. So I have one. But outside of that, I don't have a crazy debt outside of the student loans. I got student loans, the car, and the credit card. That's it. Everything else is paid for, everything else is done. So I try to maintain those things, and I check the credit score just to make sure everything else is done. I do, because if you go on, because of Corona and because I'm a social worker, this is what I know. If you go on free credit report, because due to COVID-19, you could check your credit score. You could check your credit report once a week, every day, a week, every week until April 21.
I'm gonna look that up.
You can't, like, you could, because usually they give you once a year.
Yeah.
So when I file my taxes, that's when I check my credit. And I print out my whole report, make sure everything is straight, no fraudulent stuff going on. Everything is like, boo, boo, boo. You see all my little greens, like, oh, she pays on time, right? So, but when I found this out, because I have a client, not to go too much into my work, but I work with homeless women, and one of their issues, especially when it's to regaining their lives back, is that they have terrible credit, like trash credit, right? Because whatever their reasons for homelessness, financial woes, they lost their job, substances, domestic violence, what have you, whatever their reason is, the first thing to go is the credit.
Yeah.
So I found that out because I had a client that was denied for an apartment that she was trying to get because of her credit. So when we pulled it up, that's when I found out that they were doing them every week due to COVID and all the frauds and stuff, things are happening because people right now are financially vulnerable. And I don't think we take that in consideration too, because a lot of people have lost their jobs because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So if that is the case to the man, we're not even gonna go there because you want to know why, because you shouldn't be dating if that's your situation. I was keeping it in a buck. If you had somebody, keep them, but if you don't, get your situation together first. But because of the pandemic, a lot of people are financially vulnerable. Everybody's waiting on the stimulus check, seeing if they about to sign for a second one. I ain't gonna lie, cash that joint. Okay, they can send mines my way. I do
hope
right.
they send another one, but I don't know.
I can send me mines. Okay, I'm gonna go put it in the savings. I'm gonna put it in the savings, and I can have 2 in my emergency fund. So, but it's definitely put people in bonds financially, because if you lost, I'm in a particular profession that I wouldn't have lost my job because this happened.
Yeah.
Because people are still homeless. They still need to be taken care of. And to be honest, I got an increase in my pay. Okay. Being one of the frontline workers. I'm not in a hospital, but the shelf, like they just, it's been crazy. So, and I've been going in the office every day. So it's been crazy. But the financial piece is one of the things that people who have experienced homelessness, that's the first thing that they lose, is their financial understanding and their financial, cushion. So if and that's why it's not, for me, it's a no, but it's always a dialogue. It's a conversation. It's always deeper reasons. Why somebody would say no. It's like, so why? It's like hitting somebody with a theological question, like, it's if you're, so this is how somebody got me. If you are saved, what are you saved from? And I was like, am I really saved? Like, so you got to hit people with the same kind of questions when it comes to finances. Like, if you acquired the debt, why don't you want to pay it off? You know, like so why wouldn't you feel the need and the desire to pay off these people that gave you a money in your time of need? Because I don't know anybody that's getting debt just to get debt. Nobody. People get debt because people go into debt because they need something that they can't acquire right now.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have 30,000 to get my car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't have 30. I had 2,500 in the bank. I had 30,000. You know, and most people don't have that money sitting. But the people that do, the things that they get in debt for are way bigger because they don't have that money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I've even met men that do the whole flipping, right? Flipping of houses or whatever. Everybody would love to get into that. I do not have no desire, and I hope the man the Lord sends to me has no desire to flip a house. I don't want that life, okay? I don't want that life. I don't want that burden. I can see it as a headache. Mm-hmm. It's just too much. And I'm not that business minded, no way.
Yeah.
So I understand about how they acquire debt for a profit.
Mm-hmm.
So that person wouldn't say, I don't want to pay my debt off. That person knows that if I take out a $50,000 mortgage or $150,000 mortgage loan, that I'm about to flip it, re-innovate it, and now I'm about to have a $300,000 investment with to pay off the $150 and then just made $150.
Yeah.
That ain't everybody. There's a slim far in between.
Yeah. So it's important, and I like that you mentioned all these psychological aspects and understanding of why they do certain things. For example, at my job, I'm currently doing a workshop on money, but it's not just on money. It's on our relationship with money, and it's actually. So when we did a mock presentation at my job with a few of my coworkers, including our CEO, like a few of us were crying in that room because we had to get deep into our story of why we are the way we are with finances, why we have that type of relationship with money. And it all stems from your past. From what happened in your past, in your family, you know, whatever situation you've been through, or even your current situation. So because of that, you develop bad habits. You get anxiety, you have experience of losing marriage, and you know, marriage is a number one when it comes to marriage in this country. It has to do with money, divorce. Yep. You know, saying a big percent is divorce because of money. You know, so when we do that workshop, like oh man, a few of my coworkers, they literally they couldn't go deep into the story because it was too much. You know? So we do that workshops now for other people and just talking about their own. Obviously, me personally, I share my story of what was a conflict in my life with money. Like me, you know, I had a money issue. You know why? Because I didn't have a good relationship with my mother. So I would self-medicate myself with food, buying food all the time. So I hated my mother. I had bitterness towards her. So I would buy food. Even there's food in the house, I would go out and I would have to feel some type of, I don't know, happiness to fulfill my need or whatever I'm feeling. So I would buy food all the time. And I'll be spending like $200, $300 a month on food. You know, and it's no budget either.
Right.
Which is crazy. You know, so this is why I wanted to talk about this, because especially you as a female, I want to do another video, but I'm bringing a guy into it, you know, to see his perspective of why not, you know. But as a husband, you know, I don't, you know, even though my wife, she makes more money than I do, but our income is together. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to bring her into that, you know, into that hole of, oh, I don't want to pay off debt, but I want to marry you, like expecting her to pay off my debt with her income. And no, that is a disservice. That's just evil. That's just using her. You know what I'm saying? And it's a sad thing, because, you know, I think about, what about our future? What about our future kids? You know what I'm saying? We have so much debt, which is why we're going hard, so we can enjoy whatever we want to enjoy later on. And try to be one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the reason why right now we don't have kids. And this is just our personal choice. There's nothing, I always clarify, there's nothing wrong with having a kid when you're in debt, but it does make a difference when you're debt free and having a child.
Right.
So
your child is your new set of debt.
Yeah.
Kids are expensive.
Yeah, so we're literally waiting because we don't want to have a child while in debt. We want to be able to be more financially stable, mentally, and not stressed because we have to buy all this for the baby, but then we have to owe this company and that company. Like, we don't want to go through that. And right now, after 2 years, even though we still have debt, I feel so much peace in my mind that our debt is getting smaller by the day, by the month. And wow. So just thinking about the guy, not wanting to pay off debt but wants to marry somebody. Listen, if the girl says yes, I'm not even gonna say nothing about the guy. I'm gonna go after the girl, the woman. Like, you want to marry a guy that has no plans to pay off debt?
But he love me though. But
yeah, exactly.
But I think, but here's the thing. The caveat is, at the end of the day, if that's not their priority, it doesn't matter to them.
Oh, no, of course.
So if money, if financial literacy and understanding how that, if they're just living paycheck to paycheck and they're hitting bare minimums, it's not going to matter their financial state. So you could very well get a woman that says yes. So what's that got to do with me? And they have no understanding if, like, your credit scores go together, like you find, like, they don't know any of those things when it comes to getting married.
That's the problem. They don't see in the long run how it can cause divorce, cause issues, and especially when kids are involved, things will get more, more tension. Like, dang, like, we don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we become debt free, God willing, next year, our first trip outside of this country is going to be to Santorini. That's where we want to go.
Hey.
Right now, we look at the price. I'm like, dang, it costs that much. But by then, it's going to be like pocket change to us. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even about having expensive stuff, because I'm not a person that likes expensive stuff, and neither she's definitely not her either. But it's just more about changing our mindset when it comes to money.
For sure.
Many of us, even including believers, we have such a broke mindset. You know what I'm saying? We have two extremes. We have the prosperity gospel. We have the other side, where we feel like we can't get nice things. Like, says who? You know what I'm saying? As long as you're using it the right way, as long as you are not glorifying it or idolizing it, then there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with my Roomba.
Exactly.
It costs $200, but let me tell you something. My vacuum is too big. I can't get under the thing. It goes under for you. Like, I can set it up to my Echo and let it go while I'm at work. Like, that is convenience. That is an investment. Okay.
Yeah, it's convenient. You know what I'm saying? So, but the point I'm trying to make with all of this that we're talking about is that we need to change our mindset about our money. And it starts with. And I understand, like me, if I didn't have the financial literacy and nobody came to me and to talk to me about it, and yes, we fear when we start talking about money. We don't want to talk about money. We want to reveal our net worth. I have a negative amount of net worth because of, all that, but that's fine. At least we have a plan of how to get out of debt, and what we're doing is sacrificing. I work Monday through Fridays, 9 to 5. Monday through Thursdays, after my 9 to 5, I do Uber from like 5 to 10:30. I get home, and I give it up to my wife because I'm pretty sure she, sometimes she feels down, or maybe she's missing me. Like 4 days out of the week, she don't see me much. You know what I'm saying? So that's a hard thing, but it's only temporary. It's only for a short time.
Right.
When people start to see stuff like that, then they'll make a switch in their life. Then they'll make a change in their life, because it's super important. Like, I love what Dave Ramsey says. He says that too often, I'm paraphrasing, too often we like to buy things with money that we don't have to impress broke people.
He showed us.
And it's the truth. Like, we always want the next big thing, the next iPhone. Like, I wonder how many people have the iPhone 12. And then when the next iPhone comes out, I wonder how many of those are going to get the new one too. Like for what? Why is it necessary to get another iPhone when you just got one 6 months ago?
Right.
And,
Somebody asked me,
be in debt for that one. And be in debt.
Right. And they're literally the same. They're the same. I got the iPhone 11 Pro Max because, and this is one of the, listen, and you have to know, listen, caveat, you got to know yourself when you dating these men, period. Because you would think that, I bought an iPhone because of a guy. And I wish this was like a couple of years ago.
Wow.
This was April.
Wow.
Of this year, and I got this cute little shiny iPhone, a Pikachu pop stopper or whatever, and I literally and we broke up the very next month, and I was so devastated. I was like, I could have kept my Android. I could have kept my freaking Android. Now I'm paying an extra $50 a month until the phone pays off. So when I get my taxes, I'm gonna pay the phone off.
Yeah.
But it just blew me how. And this is how, and I have to check my own self and my own intentions. Like emotionally, a lot of people do emotional buys as well. So are you purchasing these things, food, clothes, electronics? Are you doing it because this is what you really desire and this is what you want? This can add value and make your life simpler, the Roomba? Or are you doing it to fill a void that you have? I was impressing a broke dude. That's what I did when I got this iPhone, because he had an iPhone and he wanted to FaceTime me. Like it ain't 20 other apps that we can talk face to face. Facebook Messenger, Duo. I'm just naming something. You can do it on Instagram, Snapchat. But he wanted to FaceTime, so my things could be blue, so the bubble could be blue. Now we got it. I don't even FaceTime him no more. So, oh Lord, bless that man.
All right. I mean, it's a void. First of all, America is so materialistic.
For sure.
That they use psychology. This all reverse psychology and all this stuff. You go into a store, especially Christmas time, or you go. Let's specifically, if you go to H&M. Now, if you go to the H&M in New York City, that's like 4 floors, and you got a DJ with music popping. They smell good in there. That's how they draw people in. You know what I'm saying? For you to buy stuff, knowing that you don't even need those clothes.
Yeah.
You know, you go to these stores where they position certain products a certain way. You can buy the same product, 2 of the same products, but the other one is it's in a glass bottle. It has a name brand. It's and that one costs like $20 more than the one, but they function the same way.
Right.
But people, they don't get it. They think, oh, this must be more special. There's nothing special about that one. It just it's like, and I tell my middle schools and my high schoolers this all the time. Listen, you guys think that vaping is doesn't do any harm to you? Like, listen, just because vaping looks different than an actual cigarette, a traditional old school cigarette, doesn't make it any different. It's the same thing. It has those chemicals that can destroy you. So they just make you think it's cooler now.
Right.
Some of them light up. You know, you can just carry it with you and not have to light it up. You can just smoke it. It's the same nonsense.
Yeah, so, for sure.
With the FOMO or fear of missing out. You know, you want to buy the next new thing. I mean, that person wearing it, that person having it, I have to get it. I feel like I'm less of a person if I don't wear what this person is wearing, or I can't fit in. I'm like, you don't want to fit in. You do not want to fit in.
Listen, at the end of the day, if you fit in, your relationship with the Lord is going to stand you out anyway. So you might as well stand out, period. Because as soon as they find out you will believe it, they're going to look at you differently.
Exactly. You know, so I just think this is super important for women to really understand why it would be a no if the guy does not want to pay off his debt. Like, talk about those things while you're dating, so you can know. Don't talk about it when he proposes to you. Like, no, you're way too late.
Yeah, so
You know, that conversation should be happening way before that already.
yeah.
You know?
We ain't talking about date one, but month one, you know. Oh. And just and it's one of those things like people are afraid to talk about it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I ain't afraid to talk about nothing, to be honest with you. That's probably why I'm single, but it's fine. I'm not afraid to talk about it. You know, I know my worth and value, so it's cool. But I think for me, like most times the people like they're not having these hard conversations early. You know, and then when your emotions get involved, then it's harder to detach yourself from whatever person it is. Yeah. So, you know, get the conversations out early. Like, I don't even give my number out to nobody unless they're a believer. And then I'm skeptical because most times these dudes be lying. They be lying. All they know is John 3:16 and stuff that be on coffee mugs.
Exactly. Or license plates.
Yeah, exactly. In God we trust.
Yeah.
Child, it's on a dollar bill. That ain't in the Bible. That ain't in the Bible. Okay? If you can't book chapter verse it ain't in there.
Oh man, for real. And content.
Whole nother conversation.
For real. But yeah,
it is important.
Yeah, definitely. You know, so this is why I'm passionate about this. You know, and I want to, with the knowledge that I know now, keep informing others, and then keep with the testimony that we have, keep sharing on Facebook because people are watching. Yes. People are asking like, "Wow, how are you doing it? What is your method? What is And obviously, our situations are different. Mm-hmm. Like for example, you're single. Mm-hmm. Your income is probably not the same as between combined of my wife and I. You know what I'm saying? And I do a side hustle. So that's another $1,000.
Oh, I got a side hustle. I start Amazon tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
Amazon Fresh. I'm gonna be bagging y'all food up.
So everybody's situation is different. But I always tell people, listen, yes, you may say, oh, but you make more money than me, or oh, but you're married, so you have money combined. I'm like, but listen, at the end of the day, yes, when you have a raise or when you make extra money than somebody, that does play a difference. Mm-hmm. But what marks the difference the most is your behavior with money. Because listen, I'm not a math person at all. I hate math. Listen, I did bad in school all my life when it comes to math. Like I was a C student. I would fail most of my tests. I remember getting and I don't know how in your time, not your time, like wherever you live, but where I lived, the scores were not in letters; they were more in numbers. Mm-hmm. I used to get like a 3, 11 in my, like I would get only one question right in math out of like 20. Like that's how bad I was. I was not good in algebra. Forget about it. If you try to teach me algebra, it's just like you're talking to the wall. Like it just doesn't come out. And I get anxiety when I do transfer algebra or whatever. Nothing. But it's not even about the math. It's 20% head knowledge and 80% behavior. Yeah. Because you can make $100K a year and still be broke because you're living above your means. Right. Sure. More, and people think, oh, I got a pay raise. Now I get to spend more money. I'm like, no. you get a pay raise. Exactly. Yeah. That's how you get yourself more in debt. All right. You got to live below your means. Simple as that. People don't understand that because they just want to live like the rest of the world. And I ain't trying to be normal like the rest of the world.
And here's my thing.
And yeah.
Over time, your situation will change. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be a time where, you and your wife become debt free. Yeah. Woo! Next year, won't he do it? In advance, yes. However, you're gonna purchase a home. Mm-hmm. That's debt, y'all. Yeah. You are a slave to that house until it's paid off. It belongs to the bank, okay? Mm-hmm. So it can't just be this isolated time in your life. Then you'll become debt free and your life is the best. No, it has to be a behavior change because there's going to be situations that's going to happen in your life that could potentially put you in debt, or things that could happen. God forbid, something can happen to your parents, something can happen to her parents. And at the end of the day, like people, we don't, and I'm gonna go there. Financial literacy is more than just paying off debt. Okay, it's about preparing for the future.
Exactly.
Most people are not ready to get old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, most people do not have the things in place for elder care.
Yep.
Okay, social work, elder care. People do not have things put in place. If you die, if they die, if you lose a spouse, if you have life insurance policies, if you have
I
like
will.
a will, all those things, we don't have those things put in place. So if something was to happen, you could potentially get right back into debt.
Yep.
So one, it has to be a behavioral change.
Yep.
It can't just be I'm doing this right now, I'm young. No, because eventually you'll get older and you still have to continue the same habits, and you have to prepare for the future. Like someone asked me, do you have a life? Of course I have a life insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I have a life insurance policy. Of course I have, I got Aflac, so if an injury happens to me, car, hospital, whatever, any of those things happen, I can have cash on hand. That's a great benefit to have. My mother has it, my mother has a life insurance policy or whatever. So if anything was to happen, that there's things set up that I can make sure her financial things are in order as well.
Mm-hmm.
My dad says he does. I haven't seen no paperwork. It's something about a man. I don't know. My parents aren't together. So, like my dad, he said, "Oh, Ashley, you're on there." I was like, "Oh, okay." I have no paperwork, whatever. But it's more than just getting out of debt, because mind you, getting out of debt is step what in the 7 steps?
Short-term goal.
It's step 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's step 2. It's literally step 2. Step 1 is to get your emergency fund. Step 2 is to pay off your debt. And most people get discouraged at step 2. I know I am, but it's whatever. Where we are, we're paying off debt. Step 3 is to get your 3 to 6 months of emergency. 4, you doing investments. 5, paying off the house. Step 5 is to pay off the house. So they already see, like, you're gonna have debt. You have it has to be a behavior thing.
Yeah.
Why are you attached to these spending habits? And then, to be honest, when you start diving into people emotions on that, then you start seeing the issues pertaining to their childhood, their past, if they have trauma because of money and different things like that. Like, I know when my grandfather passed away when I was 22, and they had policies, they did. However, one of the policies didn't come through in time, and my whole family had to come up with $1,200 for the opening and closing. Didn't know what opening and closing was. Okay, like funerals are going to run you about a good $6,000, and that was then. I just went to a funeral that ran them about $10K, and nobody had it.
Wow.
And the woman did not have a life insurance policy, and she just got approved with Social Security. So it's so many things that what it takes to be financially responsible, and we need to be educated on all of them.
Yep.
All of them. And I just really pray for the people that's watching. I know I ramble a lot, but the people that's watching, it's a lot of information to take in. I did not learn this in one day. I did not learn this. I learned this over time. Yeah. I asked a lot of questions. I sat in front of really sound-minded people. I did a lot of studying, because I want to be at a place where I want to be debt-free. I want to be financially responsible, and I want to set my family up with a great legacy to have. Definitely. Because my mom did the best that she could what she had, and my grandmother did the best for my mom. So I want to do the best for my kids, because I know at the end of the day I can't give them everything.
Exactly.
I can just give them the best of what I have, and that's the most we're asking from you guys. We're just telling you, like, it's really important, But listen, start off small. It's not it's not always like I just have to, like, listen. He said that he works a part-time job 4 days, not 7. Okay. So at least, the 2 days from the full-time and the 3 days from the part-time. He's spending time with his wife, y'all. You have to have the work-balance life. Yeah. Okay. When God rested on the 7th day, listen, rest your body.
Mm-hmm.
Rest your body, please, because you will get shut all the way down. Okay, you need that break from the work. Okay, it's doable still. It's still doable. You can be aggressive with your debt, but you still have to take the time out for yourself. You got to have a work balance life. You have to self-care, or you will self-destruct, and
Amen.
then you can't make no money because you're sick, laying up in somebody's hospital. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've
Amen.
seen it.
Amen. 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 That is awesome. I'm super glad that we've had this conversation and hearing from a woman's perspective. Hopefully, I can do another one soon. Now talking about with another guy if they were
Yes, and I
married,
will be watching. I would love to see what he's going to say.
So that would be awesome. So as we wrap up, I just want to say thank you for coming in. It was definitely a needed conversation, not just for me, but for many people that need it as well, because financial literacy is not something that we've all had.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us don't even know where to start. And
Right.
I think we need to learn that we need to start from the beginning, from like the basics of budgeting and all that kind of stuff. Like, don't even try to eat the whole elephant at one time. Let me start
Because you're
off
gonna get discouraged and you're gonna stop.
exactly. Like, let me start off from the mouse first. Let me take care of the mouse, which is something small, work my way up.
Right.
I just want to encourage you and encourage everybody else that is on the debt-free journey. Do not give up. I know at times it's tough. At times, trust me, when I get at home from doing Uber and Lyft, sometimes I feel down because I just want to be with my wife already. Like, I don't want to do this Uber anymore. But then I remind myself, like, it's only for a time. It's only for like a year left, and then my kids will appreciate it even more. He'll be able to see daddy home most of the time, not because he's out trying to pay off debt because we're struggling. Like, no. So I just encourage you and everybody else to keep going through that journey. Seek somebody to talk to, watch the debt-free screens if you have to, listen to the podcast or whatever it is, what information you need. Another thing too, we want to talk about something that adds value to our life. Reading is an investment. I have 200 plus books in my living room right now, and I just, oh man, reading has done so much in my life apart
Yes.
from reading the Word of God. So
What book are you reading right now? I know it's a side note. I just want to know.
so I'm reading. So there's a book that I'm reading right now, but that book I'm reading it throughout the couple of months. The Kingdom of Cults by Ravi Zacharias and Walter Martin.
I love him. Rest in peace.
So the book is like 600 pages. And it just speaks about the major religions of the world and it speaks about the cults, their doctrines, and their history of each one, how it started. So I'm just reading through that little by little. But I'm gonna pick a book soon, just that I can read like every day. But that one is just throughout the month I'll just go back to it. So yeah, so I haven't picked up the other book yet, so I don't know which one yet. I have like 7 books in my shelf that I have not read, so I'm gonna pick one soon.
Cool.
Yeah. So any last words you want to say before we out?
Thank you for having me. Thanks. I hope the things that were said, really encourages people to just take a hard look at your finances. Biblically, the Bible talks about being a lender, not a borrower. It talks about not co-signing. We could have really went into that. Like, it talks about not being a co-signer in the Psalms, crazy, right? In the Proverbs. I think, just to put it in God's hands, pray about it, guys. Like, the people that we're talking about, Dave Ramsey, Crown Financial, like, these are biblically based organizations. Like, Dave Ramsey talks about how he had all this money and lost it all. When they're repossessing his car, and he had a wife and kids.
Yeah.
So he's so passionate about it because the situation happened to him.
Exactly.
And I think my biggest thing is I hate to see the aftermath. And then you're coming to me, because I'm the social worker, you're coming to me in the downfall, to help build back up. So, just be mindful, like, your life is a journey. You're going to have twists and turns and bumps along the road, but just really pray and take a hard look at where you are financially. And you know, the Lord will give you increases. I'm not prosperity driven, so I'm not about to say prayers go up and blessings go down. Listen, you're gonna struggle in this life, okay? That's not me. I'm not about to hit you with none of that. No, you're gonna struggle in this life. It's about suffering well, okay?
Yep.
All right, it's about suffering well. And I'm literally reading a book about these 12 women called The 12 Women. It's by TG. It's a TGC book. I forgot who wrote it, but it's a compilation of telling women that are in the faith stories of how they persevered through trials and tribulations. And they got people in there. I mean, Elizabeth Elliot. Period. You know, Phyllis Wheatley. Here we go. I know. I love her. So be encouraged. These things that we're telling you, be encouraged by them. Let them not discourage where you are, but let it encourage you to where you could possibly go.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I just bought a car. I can't wait to have posted. My car is paid off. You know, that's gonna be dope. It's gonna happen because you know I plan to pay my car off. You know, I'm making those. I made that plan out to where hopefully I'm gonna do half the time. So instead of doing it 6 years, I'm gonna do it in 3. But that's for me financially. That's what I can do because I have apartment, I have stuff, and I'm a single person with a single income. Luckily, we ain't going this deep. Luckily, I'm in an environment where I'm getting a pretty good salary, and my salary is only going to go up, my friend. Okay, roller coaster that goes up. So with those things, you know, like I have forward progression. So just be encouraged. I hope everyone is encouraged by this conversation. I know I am. It just puts the fuel back into like one, not only like God is so good. He's so good. He is so wise, and he loves us so much to the point where he has so many things that he says about money in scripture. Okay. And it's not just about paying it off. It's literally about putting it away and saving it and honoring people with it. You know what I'm saying? Like when they become debt free, they're going to bless people because they don't have the hold of the debt on them.
Yeah,
that's gonna be great. They can leave $100 tip and not feel no type of way.
I can't wait to do that.
Okay, I'm still calculating on mine, y'all. Exactly. And I used to be a server. I always give 20, but I'm saying like it's an amazing feeling to just slide that and say, you know, be a blessing to somebody else.
Definitely.
But you can the wise way is to be debt free about it. So that's my prayer for everybody because it's my prayer for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ashley, once again. You can continue watching the journey of me and my wife, because just wait for another couple of more months and to see another picture of us on the car or whatever. Her car this time. All right.
It'll be awesome.
All right, go ahead. Do your thing with the Bible studies with the youth. And studied. So we'll talk, all right?
All right.
All right. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye. Awesome.